A very good morning to all of you. You are watching Karan's channel for Palmistry. Now we'll be analyzing the hands or palms of Mr. Nitish Kumar, the present Chief Minister of Bihar. He was again elected as the 8th CM, which is a record in itself. And the reason why I have taken this is because he is one of the leading contenders from the opposition to be the next Prime Minister from the opposition side. So he is definitely one of the top contenders along with Mamata Banerjee. I will be doing an analysis on her also to tell you the comparative strength and who is the most likely candidate who's going to get or lead or take a strong position from the opposition party. Now let us check the palms. If you look at the palms here indicate that it is rectangleish. So such personalities are people who are hardworking and analytical by nature. Now let us look at his Jupiter or the ring index finger. You can see that his Saturn finger looks extraordinarily long in comparison to the Jupiter, that is the Saturn finger. If you look at the Apollo or the ring finger, and if you see this both seem to be more or less of the same height, maybe slightly taller than the Jupiter or the the index finger. Even his that is a Mercury finger, which you can see it here, is very, very, very long, extraordinarily long, which is why he is a wily character. And if you look more closely, you will find that his Apollo or ring finger is bent or tilted towards the middle finger, indicating that he is very clever. At the same time, his middle finger is, if you see this picture, it is also tilted towards the Apollo finger, indicating that he has got extraordinary abilities, because Saturn is a finger of the masses. He will have very good mass appeal on all the people of the lower, that is the working class people. So the reason one of his ability to occasionally side with the government or the Modi government, or sometimes changing his position from the government to the opposition, he has been playing his cards very carefully and he has been very successful. Mr. Nitish was born on March 1st in 1951 in Bihar. So he is around 70 years now, and he seems to be having a very good political career. If you look at his thumb, it is a very strong thumb indicating a determined personality. His the upper palang and the lower palang looks more or less equal, which shows that his willpower, which is on the top palang, and his logic, both are equal and good in the respect that it is a balanced way of using his energies. But the most important thing is you can see that his outer Mars is well developed, his Venus mount is also well developed, his Jupiter is reasonably developed, and his Sun mount is not so developed. But since his Saturn finger is extraordinarily long, he seems to have an edge over the others when it comes to planning. His cunningness and his intelligent manners has kept him in the top, and he will continue to be so. Of course, while comparing to Mamata Banerjee, since he is one of the top contenders for the PM's post from the opposition, I will analyze that and tell you in detail as to where they both stand. There's one more pic of him here. You can see as I bring it closer, you can see that this finger is definitely way longer than the other if you compare the other fingers. But in terms of thickness, they are average thick. They are not extraordinarily thick. So we cannot consider him to have extraordinary mental energies, but he has got extraordinary calculative mathematical abilities. He is a person who will take the advice of others but do what he wants. Here the mounts are far more easy. You can make out from here that these two mounts are not well developed, whereas in Saturn having a well developed mount is not good. So here, since it is not developed, it is really good. Though his the Sun Apollo mount is not fully developed, indicating that he is not a prime candidate. He will lose out because this is the area where he is supposed to get recognition. So his chances of becoming the next Prime Minister of India can be ruled out only because of his Sun mount being weak, though he has got an extraordinary Mercury mount, extraordinary Mars mount, a very good Moon mount and Venus mount, which all will help him in the long run. But this is a deciding factor, because if his ring finger or Apollo finger was long and straight, the chances are that he would have more talent and he would have got more recognition. The very fact that his Apollo finger is not very long, he may not get that international fame and recognition which is needed for a prime ministerial candidate. Though he will be a top contender, he will not be able to achieve in case he is planning. As if you can see that he has strategically moved to the opposition just before by turning down or breaking away from the BJP government and forming an alliance with RJD and the Congress and the other opposition parties. This move of Nitish is an excellent move. He will be having a tie-up. He will be in direct confrontation with Mamta, because Mamta has won the West Bengal Chief Minister post back to back, and she is a very strong, powerful personality. Since he is the 8th time Chief Minister, he has an edge over Mamta Banerjee. But if you look at Mamta, she has other qualities. She is not very cunning as Mr. Nitish Kumar, whereas she is more straightforward. Though her forte is her ability to manage her people under her. Her management skills are far more better than Nitish, which in you can see in the frame when I am doing an analysis on Mamta Banerjee. On the whole, if you were to look at his birth chart also, they will be matching. I think his 10th lord is Mercury, the lord which is well placed in 9th in the chart, along with Guru, but the Mercury is placed with Rahu. You can find that Rahu is in the same position in the Rashi chart, in the D9 chart and the D10 chart. So the reason that Rahu is with him is the reason for his fluctuating stance. Rahu is good. Since Rahu is positioned in the 9th house in his chart, it is helping him to take the last minute decisions, and it is proving to him to be very successful. His Lagna Lord in the 10th house, his Lagna Lord in the 10th house his Lagna Lord in the 10th house, as I told you, is in the 9th with the Sun being the third lord in his natal chart. His D10 chart also indicates that it is a good chart. Here you can notice that his Lagna house is Dhanu Rashi, which is Guru is the lordship, whereas this Guru is placed in the 11th house in D10 along with Rahu, which makes him to take fluctuating decisions, flip-flop, as to once being with the government and once being with the opposition. But this being his final strategy for the 2024 election, it can be very clearly seen that he wants to project himself as a PM candidate in the combination. It will be tough for him, as Mamta Banerjee has been with the opposition for a long time now, and she, even in the previous election, that is the previous Lok Sabha election, she had projected herself as a Prime Minister candidate of the opposition, because Rahul definitely doesn't have the support of all the opposition parties across India. So, though I'll be doing an analysis on him, the fact that Nitish Kumar and Mamata Banerjee are the two leading contenders, both will find it difficult, but this will actually weaken the opposition strategically, because the possibilities that they will not be able to stand unitedly to support each other, because Nitish is having a smaller regional party. Even Mamata Banerjee is a regional party, so they don't have much impact beyond their state. Maybe in one or two states, Mamata Banerjee's presence is there. She is trying to expand, but it is too late and too little for her now. Whereas Nitish is also a regional leader, so it is difficult for him to have a pan-India presence, which is necessary to win an election, a major election, which is coming in the year 2024. Now, when we summarize, we can see that in terms of decision making, he seems to take calculated risks, because his Apollo finger and Jupiter finger seems to be of the same length. The advantage or the mass support that he has gained is indicated by the comparatively longer Saturn finger and an extraordinarily long Mercury finger. These two are actually the reason for him. At the same time, his Apollo mount indicates the Sun mount is reasonably good, so that is why he can shine in the state politics, but his position in the national politics level may not bear him fruits. Even if you are looking at a candidature for the 2029 elections also, I doubt whether he will still continue to be a prime candidate, though it is a little far from now, because it is around 7 years from now. So even then, since this finger doesn't portray that he is going to get international recognition, or he is going to be the next PM, maybe in the coming or the next one after 2024, that is 2029. So on the whole, he is definitely a good candidate for the PM's post, but since he is a regional party leader and his mass base is only in select areas, in spite of all these hurdles, he has played safe. He has actually brought about a lot of development in Bihar, in the terms that whenever he has brought about a good change. There has been very good development in Bihar being one of the poorest, having people the least educated and the poorest in terms of the GDP. We can notice that there is a sea change in the number of people who are educated, well placed, and are panning out across India with a very bright future for them because of the education and the changes that he has brought about in Bihar. He will continue to be a dominating force in Bihar and be one of the major opposition leaders, part of it. So, but the opposition cannot cannot trust him because he has actually deserted them in that when they wanted him for that Mahagathbandhan. They wanted to fight Modi, but he joined Modi to fight against the opposition. So he is actually more selfish towards his, rather than trying to be in one side of the fence. So Mamata Banerjee is been very consistent. She has been an anti-BJP personality, whereas he is not consistent in his stand. So he may not get that prominence that he needs because of his double standards. So here again, Mamata Banerjee will definitely have an edge over him when they are projecting the prime ministerial candidate. They will avoid to project either Nitish or Mamata Banerjee. The reason being, it can create rift in the opposition thing. So they would want to know if their alliance can gain majority and then decide who is going to be there. So the opposition will definitely play safe and will not want to project either Nitish nor Mamata nor Rahul Gandhi, because Rahul Gandhi will definitely ruled out because of his inabilities. None of the parties will support him, and he is on a political decline. His career in the politics is on the downhill now. He will lose all his base and his total entity from the politics will wean away. He is possibly going to into another career other than politics, which is more suited for him. So the only two people who will continue to be a political force in the Indian politics is Mr. Nitish Kumar and Mamata. You can ask me any doubts. These doubts can be clarified in the comment section so that I can explain each and every aspect of what I've been trying to tell you about Mr. Nitish Kumar, the present CM of Bihar, who has achieved a record of being the eight times CM of. He has actually outwitted Lalu Prasad, who is also equally very witty and cunning by nature,